That's background music. It's a little too loud. It was playing way back there in the back. Wow. Not there. Not right in front of your face, 'cause I can't hear you talk.
Good morning, everyone.
Now in the conference.
I'll call our meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. Let's open with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The way we have things are scheduled today, we're just kind of spaced out, so I would anticipate one or two recesses in between appointments, and we don't have anything else to discuss. Bob, if you want to go ahead and bring up budget adjustments.
Whoops. I had to change my thing this morning. Let's see if it works. Okay, I gotta go to there's budget adjustments. Ooh, why those are school.
And there's two handwritten ones there also.
Okay, here. Contact tracing.
Okay, is there a motion to approve budget adjustments?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none. Christie?
Jeff Myers?
Yes.
Bob Westbrook?
Yeah.
Glenn Moore?
Yes, budget adjustments have been approved. Christie, would you, today, would you get a hold of Christie in Defiance County and I don't remember Fulton County and also Williams County and see if they have a sign policy.
Or,
One of them. I have some. And,
or if they have it.
Yeah, the city will have an ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
So, a couple times, when I was on council, we dealt with that.
I don't know, because. Is that who was talking yesterday? In that meeting, or, is that Frank Hatfield?
Yeah. Did you see that? When I pushed print, this thing came and said it was offline. Is it offline?
Just go ahead and print.
I'll do it again. Oh, it made a splash there. Must be on.
Did it wake it up?
It wasn't active, they were acting up this morning, the printer was, though.
Okay.
I got the message where it was offline, but all this stuff printed.
Okay.
We,
Okay.
rebooted it.
There's probably two of them in here then. Okay. Let's go to. looked at some of them. The biggest ones were down here at the bottom for childcare.
Yeah, a lot of those, it seem like
Yes, a bunch of them.
big dollar ones.
Yes. But really, those are, but,
There's the biggest one.
yeah, that's 4 kids. That's the one I looked at, and that was for 4 kids. So, but that's a new place though, I'll show it to you. It's a different place,
Ohio Teaching Association.
yeah. What is that?
It's a foster care facility.
See, there's one was, there's a cost right there, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, and 5,000.
Go down to the bill.
Yeah, that's all it shows right there, just those. That kid was only there 20 days, so,
Well, it's basically the cost is $285 a day.
yeah. Except that one's $258.
And we have had him hired.
Yeah.
For 300. Depends on what the children,
Yeah,
what they require.
that's it. on the-
Jenna Cross out here is used by Henry County as a place of last resort. And it's priced accordingly. But it seems that the children that have been placed there require, they would never fit in a foster home environment. They're required, some of them have been required 24-hour watch and just a number of things. You know, many issues,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Results, yeah.
So basically, for those 4 kids, it's $1,000 a day.
Would there be a motion to approve then and now?
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none. Christie?
Jeff Myers,
Yes.
Bob Hoska,
Yes.
Glenn Miller.
Yes, then and now have been approved.
The next motion. Did you see the email that I sent you from?
Somebody.
Okay, let's start going down the line. Judge Collier.
Not Hyde.
Jim Evans.
Jim Evans, yeah, okay, yeah.
It goes down the line.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, that was just passed, was it yesterday?
Yesterday or the day
We have to
before.
change our applications and everything, because it can't, my understanding is it cannot say sex on it, asking what sex you are.
I have no idea. I don't, other than I heard something on the news last night, what little of the news I did watch. And I don't know. I really don't. I checked with Glenn.
I shot an email back to him, but I haven't heard back yet.
Well, he was gonna change it, or was he,
He's changing the policy, which we'll have to pass a resolution when.
when we get it from him?
Look over and make sure, you know, what you think, and then,
But what was your question? Do we have to change it on the,
yes, I'm wondering on whatever paperwork that we have, if that can.
Or ask Jim, one of the things. But we may.
I feel we've already approved it, so.
Right up, right. Can we change it? That's the old one.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here and here's Cubic,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead and circle, and then I'll go in
Okay.
and change that, and,
We can still sign, I think, the last page.
yep. That actually, I think I took,
We got changed.
what,
Where it is.
my letter has changed, but I took the old one. I didn't change
Um,
on the old template. No, the actual letter.
Oh,
Yeah, I have my letter changed. just for it was already done for the increase letter that we sent out before, and I've changed the date now.
We're gonna need this again. I'll sit over here.
In your official position.
Yeah.
There weren't any regular bills, were there?
No, I did them yesterday.
Yeah, then
I did.
I checked later.
Yeah.
Sometime there weren't.
There was like 5 of them on there this morning that I okayed this morning, yeah. If I sit over here, the heat off this guy keeps my head a little warmer.
What happened to the hat I gave you?
What?
What happened to the hat I gave you?
I'm not gonna wear a hat in here, I think that would look dumb. I'm thinking of a hoodie though, maybe I could flip it up.
So say what happened to the comfort bear?
Yeah, what happened? Yeah,
That would keep you warm.
yeah, I could cuddle up to it.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is Resolution C, which what we're going to be discussing will be to increase the solid waste contract fee to $6 per ton. In that contract fee, well, let's go ahead and get it on the table to discuss. As a matter of increase the solid waste contract fee to $6 per ton, would there be a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, under discussion, this additional dollar that's going to be added to the contract fee will go right direct to the post-closure fund. The post-closure fund, it was preferred that the post-closure fund have enough cash or income coming into it that would last for 30 years. Since I've been commissioner, it's half of what it was. It's half of what it was. As far as doing, physically doing things at landfills, there's not much that needs to be done. We're blowing this money on engineering fees and all these other services that we've talked about. We may just seriously need to go out for request for proposals to handle this.
I think we should.
And come out with a do not exceed per year number, which I think is very doable. This is, it just continues to get more and more ridiculous. So it's bleeding the, excuse me, post-closure fund faster than was anticipated. And we want to begin to shore that up. And so this will not, it affects everything that goes out of Henry County to landfill. We have a list of, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 different landfills that we have had waste disposed at. And so they will tack an extra dollar on the contract fee that they're charging now, which is $5. But again, for the record, this is to help shore up the post-closure fund. And it would be great if we could, we may have to, over the next few years, look at bumping this again and again. It would be nice if we could at least just go
revenue neutral. Yeah, some months we're real close, but when we pump leachate, then last month it was leachate. If we wouldn't have pumped leachate last month, we'd have made it. And then that's rain. I mean, we can't help that.
Yeah. And so we just, and I haven't sat down and looked at yearly averages.
No, I haven't looked at the averages.
And to see what that looks like. And at least from that project, you can't predict the rainstorms, but if you take your high and your low out, you've got probably a pretty decent picture.
Yeah. I think, like I could say, last month I looked at it, it would have, if it wasn't for leachate, we would actually gain a little bit, which, but, yeah, it comes out of there.
So as it's set up now.
But there's no test.
Of the $5, is a percentage going to the foreclosure?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's what, $2?
It was $2, now it'll be $3.
Okay, so then that's now $3.
So now it's $3.
So that's automatic when they transfer the money
Yep.
over?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it won't generate a lot, but it's, other than continuing to increase the contract fee and possibly increasing, dumping fees, we could channel, that money into that post-closure fund. Or another option is property tax levy.
Yeah. It's a,
And that's been done in many counties, but we're trying to avoid that.
Absolutely.
because we feel, and, the users should pay for it, not the people.
I agree with you.
And may, in time, hopefully after I'm retired from being commissioner, the county may have to.
Yes.
Because there's not enough usage.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the transfer station, and that is not working. And so it may be where it falls, on the whole county.
Yeah, I
It
think
could be done by, another option is assessment.
assessment, that's assessment is
And there's different ways,
Yeah.
that you can do the
Yeah.
assessment. And that is all
Approve.
out for.
well, it's just another tax, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's another tax. And I pay this $1 or the $6 when my garbage went up last year, they hadn't raised it. And I actually called them and I said, if we raise it $1, the last time we raised it $1, I said, how much will my garbage go up? And she goes, what are you talking about? And I said, well, the fee, and she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, we take it in, that's our cost when it goes in, as long as we can pay ourselves and make, and we're, they're a small outfit, so but then right after that, it wasn't too long after that, then they raised it a couple bucks a month, which and their excuse, their letter was, well, our income isn't meeting our outgo, so we gotta,
Yeah, and,
So when we do this, that company doesn't even notice. I mean, it's just cost
so
their garbage.
if you really don't read the paper.
Yeah, she didn't know anything
No,
about it.
the haulers are not notified
No.
in this case. Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Christie?
Jeff Myers,
Yes.
Bob Huska,
Yes.
Bud Miller.
Yes, this resolution has been approved.
Next, we have an annexation petition, the one for Bill Myers. They resubmitted and amended the one from last year, where they had the parcel number on the map wrong. And then I went ahead and set up a hearing date on 8/20 for that.
We have to, is there part of the guidelines in our annexation manual?
We have an annexation now.
Are there part of the well, there's also the county.
Yeah, we have both. I've been working with Michael on this, and he's really good.
And, where I'm going is there, notification of other parcel owners around this property?
That's what that petition is, and it'll, I think on the very last page underneath, it has the owners. There's not too many on that one.
Touch it up there, I didn't touch it up there. I thought ODOT could have had somebody there yesterday. I can't believe there wasn't anybody there.
Craig would have been there
Yeah,
if he wasn't retired.
yeah.
Okay, in the matter of annexation petition for parcel number 07-2700088.0000, Napoleon Township into the city of Napoleon. Mr. William Myers has petitioned the commissioners to annex a parcel of property which is, I'm going to pass on reading the whole legal description.
Oh, thank you. I think the most, huh?
I was gonna say, but when I was president of the city council, we had some resolutions that had that much wording and then have to read it 3 times.
Yeah.
But in many cases, it wasn't just one, there were a number.
Yeah.
So Bill is, it's on County Road 424, just basically at the West Corporation limits, right in that area. Between Meyer Holtz Park and then Terry Michaelis. The Michaelis family has some property then just west of that.
On the south side of 24?
Mhm.
Before
Right
424?
along the river.
Right along the river?
Yeah. So this is the process to get this started. There'll be hearing, then Napoleon has to do some things, then I think it comes, if I remember correctly, and
Do they have a list of things that they will provide that, like garbage service, fire protection, water service?
that's when it gets to the city. And then all that eventually comes back to us.
That will come back to us.
Yeah.
Then we have to check that then, because that's the only thing I know about annexations. That was the one time that things got pretty heated in here, when they had one time and they weren't gonna do it. Well, we aren't gonna do that then. And then we said, well, then we're not gonna sign it, because this guy's annexing in just for this purpose, and you're telling, no, we're not gonna do that. And I don't know, and I thought he was a good guy, but with Dave Grand, I thought, Dave, after I figured it all out, I said, why wouldn't you do what you said you were gonna do? Well, we're not gonna do it in this instance. I said, no. Tom Van Deelen got into it with him, big time.
I'm assuming that Bill spoke with the.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason he's doing it, so he has all that. I'm sure that's why, so he can sell that property. Right.
System, I think,
Right.
property.
Yeah, so, also Jeff, I think each of us, there should be a copy of the county annexation policy. It's only about this thick, it's not very should be in your office. If not, you can take a look at mine.
Okay.
Also, County Commissioners Association on their website under publications or something or other, reference. In the Commissioners, under the Commissioners Handbook, wherever that stuff's listed, there is Commissioners Annexation.
I get your copy too.
And that's probably what the counties has been written from.
Okay.
A lot. CCAO has done a lot of that work for the counties. But it's that County Commissioners Handbook. The gentleman who wrote most of it retired after 30-some years of serving the County Commissioners Association.
He had a lot of knowledge.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really wanted to know why such and such bill was passed 20 years ago, he could tell you. Here was fine. Here was the legislature's intent. Just a great guy. I haven't seen him since he's retired.
No.
It's fun to talk to, just very, very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Serious smart. When it came to the political things.
Mm-hmm.
So did I get a motion in a second? Or have I talked all that?
Not weird. I think so. So again, Jeff Miners?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, if we're not sure.
I know that they made a motion and then
Okay.
discussion, but I
Okay.
thought they voted already.
I thought we did too.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Oh, that was on the other one, the one I just brought to you. Yeah.
I'll vote yes. So this resolution is passed, and there is a hearing, an annexation hearing scheduled for August 20. Have you set a time for that?
Yes. In 9:30.
At 9:30 a.m. Okay. Great. I had some weight to it, so.
Yeah, that had a little ball, yeah.
Okay, we have another resolution. The title reads, "In the matter of fulfilling the requirements of Ohio House Bill 481 for the passage of a resolution in order to receive and expend federal funds under Section 5001 of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act," which is known as CARES. The House, so would there be a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Before I get ahead of myself. The House and the Ohio House and the Ohio Senate have passed the first round of $350 million of the $2.3 billion or $3.5 billion that is to come to local, tribal, basically local government of any type. And we're waiting now, currently waiting for the governor's signature, which I have a feeling will happen today so that he can, say something about it in his press conference. I haven't heard anything to that effect or read anything on Don where it said it.
He was gonna say it?
Yeah. Talking with Representative Hoops yesterday, he was hoping that he would get this signed quickly. And there's an emergency clause on it, so it takes effect immediately, which really it should. So that's $350 million, and it will be divvied out based on how the local government funds go out. I don't know all the detail. I think Kevin may have more detail.
Okay.
At 9:45.
Yeah, okay.
But we have studied studied the document, we, for the CARES Act, what's allowable, what's not allowable. We have registered with whoever, Office of Budget Management, for Henry County. Tracy is the grant administrator. Tracy probably in the county is the most knowledgeable about dealing with federal grants, the peculiarities of them, and the reporting requirements.
Yeah.
And it's not for the faint of heart. But, he and I were talking about that yesterday, and he has a pretty good handle on it.
I saw the list of stuff that, on the VIP that, did you put that on there? Did you find that?
I gave him a list of everything since he got COVID.
Yeah.
And so we're looking up, the specific invoices he needs
Okay.
for that. Yeah, just quite a few.
Yeah. So, it's pretty robust. It's what basically the feds are saying, here's money.
Yeah.
In my mind, there's two priorities. There's a vast amount of flexibility in this. One is making sure that counties' PPE supply is we're at a level where we're comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this act is designed to go out so we can purchase that.
Yeah.
And then also we have the flexibility of doing grants to businesses that really would like to do that as much as we can. So then accumulating information. Hamilton County earlier, I think it was in May, did a small business grant program. They had 3 levels, 2,500, 5,000, and 10,000. And so I downloaded all the information on that, and I need to get a hold of one of the commissioners and get a copy of their application. But there's a number of things there.
A lot of these small businesses, like especially the restaurants that put up dividers and stuff like that, that should qualify for that type of money,
Oh, yeah.
So that
and
they get some help on that.
And even, what has really bothered me is that you ever saw a big box store closing.
Yeah.
They made a lot of money too.
Probably did. But the locals, for example, say, I know our local shoe store was closed. We sell shoes, Walmart and Myers.
We're selling shoes. Yes.
And I haven't talked to the owner to see if he was concerned, he wasn't sure if it was essential or not essential business. He just decided to go to the big end just better close.
Yeah.
We don't know all those, many of those details.
Well,
It would be interesting.
Yeah. I better turn that
With
down.
that said, is there any other discussion? Hearing none? Christie?
Seth Grant,
Yes.
Bob Costa,
Yes.
Bob Miller.
Yes, this resolution is
Alright. I have a copy of that.
Oh, yeah. Good, thanks.
Latest on the scandal sheet, $4,000 vacation tax credit could be included in your next stimulus.
I saw that.
So they're gonna
Vacation.
Go on vacation.
stimulate us to go on vacation?
Yeah.
They want people
I want to be stimulated on vacation yet.
So I better buy stock in,
they're not even all back to work, and
Yeah, we're talking about sending them on vacation.
what a way to buy votes.
if somebody goes on vacation, then do they get quarantined for 2 weeks when they come back?
that out.
They did?
Yeah. Yeah, that went out first of the month. Okay, we have a little time yet before it's time to have a discussion with Kevin. Bob, do you have anything else?
Well, I did trying to help the townships down there with the weeds we got, the poison hemlock, and I called, like I say, I told you guys earlier, I did call Rusty Orban, and he said his hands are tied because it's federal rules and regulations that prohibit their people from going in and cleaning it up and spraying it. He said, we're gonna spray it out 15 feet from the track, and I said, it's a good 100 feet out there, and it's gonna spread, and it's a noxious weed on your property. He said, there's nothing I can do about it. Believe me, I am not going to avoid you or ignore you, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I thought, and I said, if you don't do it pretty soon, it'll go to seed and it don't really matter. Then we'll have a problem again next year. So, or worse, yeah. So I don't know. We're not the only people with it. I did find out it's in Putnam County very bad. I've got a friend that goes to Kentucky. He said it's all over down there. I haven't talked to my grandson. He's drives all over too. So, of course, I don't know if he knows what it looks like, but anyhow, I've been working on that. But I'm not making a lot of progress because. Did you find by any chance Kathy Shaver's card or how to get a hold of her? Okay.
I can Google it.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're supposed to go to the BG office. Give Kathy a call, but I think our district now is the BG office.
Give the BG office? Oh, okay.
There's a Dave that comes around every now and then.
The BG office was on, he said Congressman Latta sent something out. I thought I saw it on my phone last night. Yeah. The BG office is on there, so. Okay, maybe
but I'm sure if you're comfortable with reaching out to Kathy, she'd be.
Yeah.
She's not
Well, but the thing I want to do is say if this is actually federal law that's stopping this, there's also a federal law that says you got to control your noxious weeds. So who's going to fight who here? Let's get in line, and then we'll call Mr. Orban down on that because he's always so professional in his.
Screw anybody that's not,
Yeah.
railroad, it's pretty well said, it's
It's an interesting ride, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it big enough to have to build anything?
It looks like it did. Yeah.
Christie, do you have anything else?
Jeff? Nothing.
Yes, sir. Anything good?
I don't have anything either, we just have about 7 minutes before we can start talking to Kevin.
I have some other items I could just for FYI for you guys.
Good. Bring us up to.
So we know that we gotta look at our revenues, and our revenues we estimate going to be down and all that. So we get the sales tax amounts in already. Now we don't have the money, so we don't really release it until next week when we get the funds. But so there'll be a press release that'll come out later with this, but. I'm going to estimate our sales tax is going to be down about 12 to 13% from last year. So that's actually not as bad as what we anticipated because when we talked before, we're looking at like 20% or a little higher than that. The nice thing about it is they've been releasing early information to us, and I don't know if you guys seen the information. The real killer for us is the auto sales tax. Well, it's hard to sell cars when you're not open. Because I think in Henry County, we were like down 50% of auto sales. But other sales, we were down like 3%. And I think the newest one that came out, we're like down 1%.
1%. I saw that the other day.
And that's for April.
So, we're going to be down, but the June stuff, and again, this is preliminary numbers, and if we have the press listening, this press release will come out more next week. We're going to be down about 20, let me get my numbers here, around 40,000 from last year. Last year was like 363,000, we're going to be like 323, so between 12 and 13%. On a different take, if I compared January to June numbers, we were at $2 million in 2019. In 2020, we're actually at 2.1. So we're ahead of pace of last year. But we're going into a time.
Well, it's gonna suck away pretty fast.
Yeah, it's gonna suck away pretty fast. So, I would almost anticipate, and this is just a guess, that July will be down. But, if we lose another, I'll say 40 or 50,000 compared to last year, we're still gonna be a little bit ahead. And then we'll see what picks up from there.
Yeah, and hopefully sales tax will start coming back. But like you say, our actual sales tax without automobiles wasn't down that much. It's the car sales.
Less than 5%, yeah, less than 3%.
So how many of our dealers that were closed and how long were they closed? I know.
I don't know that. I could tell you that some of the economic news that I listen to, and this is a national thing, the CEO of Ford Motor Company was on CNBC a week or so ago, and he's like, our sales are doing really well, and they're selling the F-150s and all that.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign nationally.
Yeah.
But in Henry County, I look at it this way, so is it going to lag? And I can't speak for the sales. I've not went down and talked to Brian at Snyder's and all that.
Yeah.
I would just say personally, people that have leases, like my wife had a lease, and we had to deal with that. So we were a car purchaser, air quotes, last month. Because our lease was up, so some of that has to be taking place. Now, they're going through that process. There was certainly people. They said that they could extend it a month or two for us if we didn't want to get out and about. And it was interesting. We went to the dealership and we're wearing masks, and they're very careful, and and they wiped everything down. But it wasn't like a normal time at a dealership, I'll just put it that way.
Are there many cars? It's pretty much, car lots are pretty bare.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That would be interesting, because the only story that I've heard about it, and this was secondhand at Estels and Hamler there, that they were closed to sales for 1 week. And I know their body shop and that, and their detail shop was closed longer than that, because somebody else told me, well, they were laid off a little long. They were off 2 or 3 weeks. Then they went back to work. But they said after that 1 week they were closed, they went back to work, and they said now we're selling cars like crazy. So
it would be curious that if we're down 50%.
Yeah.
Because again, we know Henry County auto sales tax was down 50%, which is a large chunk of our sales tax.
Yes. Yeah.
And reminder that sales tax of automobiles is not just Henry County. If you purchase a car in Wood County, you pay the Henry County sales tax, and that goes back to us.
Phoenix, Arizona, too.
Phoenix, Arizona?
I checked on it while I was there. I said, boy, I told that salesman, I said, you know what? I said, this is really pissing me off, number one. I said, number two, I would never buy a car, nothing against you personally, but I said, I buy a car locally, so at least in Ohio, so my sales tax goes back. He said, wait a minute. He gets on his computer and he goes, what county, where are you at? I said, Ohio. He goes, oh yeah, your county will get it. He says, it goes reciprocal.
Nice. I wonder if all states are like that.
Not all states are like that, but he said, we are with Ohio.
Well, if you're, in some states, if you're from out of state, you don't pay sales tax.
Like Florida? I mean, they don't have sales tax.
Oh, yeah?
If you're an out-of-state resident, you don't pay the sales tax, but when you go back to your home state, you get your title.
Oh.
That's how Michigan is.
Okay, that's how that works.
That's when the tax gets paid.
Okay. Well, I paid it out when I bought the car, but he said, wait a minute. He goes, and I understand that, because I told him what I did. I said, that's money that follows me around a little bit. And man, he said, yeah, I'll check it. And he goes, oh yeah, we're reciprocal with Ohio. So he said, but not all states are reciprocal back and forth.
If Indiana was, if you go to Indiana, you could buy a car, you didn't have to pay sales tax. That was the same thing with Michigan. So I had friends that went, well, I didn't have to pay sales tax. Well, they did. They just didn't tell the whole truth.
Yeah, they didn't pay it right then.
Yeah, they didn't pay right then.
So that's the, I'm curious with sales tax for automobiles, if you're down 50%, and again, we're talking lagging, so this is April.
Yeah.
So then we go to May, I mean, we could be up 10% because there could be people that were delayed too.
Yeah.
And it may not just be the sales, and I don't know how all that works.
Yeah.
I know that dealers come to our title office and they do the transfers and that, but could they hold some of that to wait till things are open? I'll just say it that way.
Yeah.
Is now in the conference.
Yeah.
Okay, it is 9:45, and we have Auditor Kevin Gehringer with us today to talk about the CARES Act.
Well, I just wanted to come out and first of all, thank you for having me today, and just reach out to the commissioners here and just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. A couple things that needs to be done. We're going to have some CARES money come in. So two things that we need initially here is we need a resolution passed, and I've given copies to sample resolutions, and I believe you guys are doing that today of that.
Yes, we did it already.
And then the other thing that we need to have done, and I know in discussion with Commissioner Miller and with Tracy Bush at the EMA, is that we need to register for that portal. And Tracy, has he done that?
Yes.
So that is completed.
Probably a week ago, it's right.
Like Ohio Business Management or OBM or something like that. There's some portal.
Yeah.
He has the DUNS number and okay.
Yeah, it's
Brian Keller, Northwest Signal.
It is now in the conference.
It's pretty with this federal grant. Tracy's pretty familiar with the process, so that we've got that in our favor. So he put himself down as grant administrator.
Super.
And so we're set there. I think Christie sat in on the same CCAO briefing on that, did you?
Yeah.
Kind of the training session for that, yeah.
Okay. Well, so that's great. So we have the resolution, and then we're registered.
Mhm.
Those are the two initial hurdles, the big hurdles. And then we're all learning this together. So we're seeing what we need to do with this money,
Including the people that are handing it out. right?
including us handing out. So then once what'll happen with that resolution is we're going to end up setting up two different funds for the county. One fund is going to receive the money because in this process, it specifically states that the county auditor disperses the money. And not just to the county, but to everybody else. So the cities, the villages, the townships with that. So all that money will be coming in whenever we receive it, and I don't have an idea of when that will be at this point. I mean, I get information daily. And then once we receive that money, and then I need the resolution from the entities to accept it. I'm going to have a call into the city of Napoleon because I was following the tweets of their council meeting last night, and they passed a resolution that said about for the CARES money. I'm assuming that's the resolution that I'll end up receiving, then that allows me to give the money to that entity with that. So some of the money is already earmarked to these entities, and they're following the local government formula with that. And I sent that to, I think I just sent that to you. An estimated amount of money that each entity gets. And these are estimates, so once that money is confirmed, then we can distribute that
That's the
out.
one you're talking about.
Yep.
Would you make copies?
So when you're saying you have two funds, are you just the in and out, the revenue and the expense, or is it two?
Well, from our standpoint, the two funds is if we get the initial money, and like the estimate I received is like 934,000 plus, 934, 935, and that's again an estimate. If that's the total amount we're going to get, that comes to the auditor. That fund there is set up to hold that money. As that money gets dispersed out to the entities, and I'll say the county, before the county can receive it to spend it, then that's where to us, the second fund will basically send up a county COVID fund. That's where that money will sit there. And as we spend that money, we spend it out of there. Because it's important to remember, and we learn as we go, there are requirements with this money. There's some things that we can do, there's some things we can't do. If we don't spend it all, there's a certain date, I think it's like December, it's late December. The money will have to go back.
That was my question. Well, they're sending us this money, but we have to.
The villages and the townships, if they don't, there's an October date.
Well, okay, so then there's that October date, all right. So this is, we learn as we go with that October date. And let me bring that up here.
Is it?
There's $350 million of the entire entity that the state gets. It gets dispersed out, so our portion of the pie is at 900 plus
Right.
thousand. Okay. So it'll all be sent at once to the county auditors to be dispersed first to the eligible subdivisions by the formula in the bill. After October 15, any remainder, then that gets returned. Okay, I'm reading this as I go here. Okay. If an entity doesn't claim or want their money, I believe it's October 15th, other subdivisions may be able to take the remaining portion.
Oh.
And that's where that...
In our county, you mean?
In our county, yeah.
Yeah, basically goes back to Kevin,
Okay.
and the money becomes available.
Well, I do not disperse unless I have directions and a resolution from the entities. So, like, if a township says, we don't have COVID cost, we don't want to mess with this,
Yeah,
we're not
sure.
even gonna ask for money.
Okay.
Then they have a point until like, I believe it's October 15th, then the county, I'll say, other entities could go, hey, what is remaining?
Yeah.
And we have additional cost, we can pull that from there. So that's where that comes into play.
Okay.
And that's on the 350 million of the 2.35 billion.
Yeah, and I think that's the larger question here. So at the end of the year, and let's say we spend 200,000 of that 900, we send that back, the 700,000 back to the state. What happens to that money?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know how that's written.
Yeah, but there's gonna be a lot of money get sent back to the state of Ohio that.
Probably goes back to the black hole of Washington. But it's.
Maybe it goes back to Washington. Yeah, that is a black hole.
And.
Well, they printed it, so they.
Yeah, that's right. I was talking with Jim yesterday, Kevin, and he's thinking maybe the governor will sign that bill today. The emergency clause on the state takes effect immediately.
Good.
When we were talking, and we figured he's going to use that. We may even have it signed so he can publicize it in the news conference today, which I don't blame you. That's fine. So I said, Jim, where's the other 800 million? Well, it's still here. I said, and we're trying to decide what to do with it. I said, does that mean for the state to decide what they want to do with the money?
Yeah.
But no, he said that's supposed to, that goes to the local government. He said, what we're trying to do is to get the feds to broaden what the money can be used for.
Okay.
So he said, we're looking for additional ideas.
Okay.
And, I said, Jim, immediately it comes to mind is the businesses that closed is to shore their sales back up.
Yeah.
Give them some help. And
Give it to them. Don't make it a loan. You gotta give it to them because they lost it. You can't. That's what the federal government. Every time there's a little thing how many of you guys know that the Farm Service Agency, they're always right there, jolly on the spot. Here's money, but it's a loan. It's a low interest loan.
We're here to help.
Yeah, we're here to help you. Well, a loan is a loan. I can go to the bank and get a loan, and I can even talk them down on interest. these people don't need a loan, they need money, they need free money given to them because this wasn't their fault. You know, it was a disaster, so,
Yeah, and insurance, business interruption insurance doesn't cover this stuff.
yeah, so,
Otherwise, we'd be shoring up, insurance companies.
insurance company, that's exactly right, yep.
So, again, I can't stress enough, we learn as we go on this.
Yeah.
So when we get the money in, who knows on what that is, then this is where the October 15th date comes in. Unspent funds as of October 15th, redistributed within the county to eligible subdivisions that spent all of their funds in the first round. So what that means is, once we get this money, entities pass a resolution that they need the funds, I distribute it out. Again, if some townships, villages don't want the money or never gives a resolution, that money stays in that fund. To a point of October 15th, then, and I'll just make up a number, 300,000 still sitting there.
Yeah.
25% can go to the county government if eligible, which means we would have to spend all of our first round money. And the remainder based on the subdivision's relatively population share among eligible subdivisions for the county. So if a village spent all of their money the first time and there's money left over, they could come back after October 15th and ask for more money.
Okay.
With that. And then
If there's some left.
If there's some left. Yeah, if every entity asks for the money and it's gone in the first time and that fund that we received in is zero, that October 15th date means nothing.
Yeah.
So what's the total amount? We're getting 900 and...
This is an estimated.
Okay.
It is 934,687.
687, okay. And so then, like, let's just take Monroe Township, that's where, they get 0.9% of that.
They would get 8,000, all the townships would get 8,628.
8,628, okay. And they have to spend that on, what is a township gonna spend that on?
Well, here's an example. Talking to a Richfield Township trustee, they received 2 checks and couldn't remember who they were from, but it was support to go towards COVID. The trustees decided, we have no expense. They gave the money to South Joint Ambulance District.
Oh, they did?
I don't know if they can, and I mentioned to the trustee, you might really need to check
Well-
where that money came from and what you can do with it.
What, were they townships that are in the district?
So far,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, well, they would give it, each township should give the same amount to the district. That's just my opinion.
I don't think that's what,
But this
No,
isn't,
that's not, no, this
is different money.
a separate thing
Oh.
that they received,
they don't know what-
trustee said that,
yeah, they received it directly.
yeah, whatever, it was around $1,700, and this has been some weeks ago.
Mm-mm.
They don't know what it's for?
they thought it was this, but.
No, it was for something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Ridgeville Township called me and she was wondering about it, and I'm like,
That's a little
Do
scary.
you
That's a
know
little scary.
what it was from, Kevin?
I mean, I really guided them to their association on that because we never see the money when it comes in.
Yeah.
So I don't know on that. I could
Did
see,
she say who it was from?
I'm looking up to see.
And I don't think it was very much, was it, $700 or $800?
I think about $1,700.
Did each township get that much then? Do you know? Or it was just a couple of the townships that got it?
I asked around and.
It said, this is from Ridgeville Township. They received some funds for the Stimulus Care Act relief. She said it's not something she applied for, it just came in. And she was wondering, like, do I need a new account for the money? And I This is the first I heard of it, so a lot of times when I do that, I say, you know, you need to contact the Township Association. For some guidance with
My
that.
goodness.
I asked if she give me some more information, and she says that this money came in U.S. HHS stimulus, CARES Act relief, IEF payment. U.S. HHS. So United States probably Homeland Security.
HHS is Health and Human Services.
Okay.
Huh.
So this, in Washington DC, does one hand know what the other hand is doing over there? Or is
Well,
Health and Human Services sending out money?
So what she told me is that, she's reading it correctly, we received for the fire department to help cover runs that maybe insurance didn't pay enough of for COVID or PPP equipment. So if you had a fire EMS run because of COVID expenses and, you know, there's still amount of money left over after the insurance paid, like a copay or whatever, then that money is to use to cover that additional cost. And then it says, or for, you know, PPP equipment to help gear up the fire departments.
That was one thought I had. Can these townships, because a lot of them have fire departments and EMS squads that are kind of one way or another. I mean, Southern District, they all got squads, or they're just, can they build up their PPEs with this stuff and, you know, for the future, for the next time this hits or something hits?
Yeah, and typically Henry County has, we built up for, and took care of everybody
Yeah,
in the county.
but maybe we could get more and just let it, of course, I don't know how long that stuff lasts either. Does it have a shelf life like those N95s?
I think they have dates on them.
They do have dates.
Okay, so you don't want a bunch of that stuff.
I think it was, Commissioner Adams, the health commissioner, said that it doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
The filters are still good, you know.
okay. So, you know, do we, and you hate to spend it all on PPEs because you might sit on them for 20 years. You don't know.
So then, going from the PowerPoint that we've all gotten or received, you know, when we receive this money in, there's examples of eligible expenditures that we could do. And then there's something that's eligible, you know, non-expenditures that we cannot do.
Yeah.
And that's why when we spend this money, and this is where the second fund comes in, we will keep track of our spending. So if and when we get audited for this money, we can earmark every cent that it goes to.
I'd say that's the best thing to do.
And then I'll just say this, it seems like it's broad on what you can spend it, and specific what you can't spend it.
Okay.
And I think,
It's pretty specific on what you can't spend.
and so that I would lean more towards when we have expenses from this, to look at we cannot spend it on this list,
Right.
and go from there.
Okay.
For the county, you know, there's also that public assistance money that covers a lot of, this also.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, under the CARES Act, there's more flexibility. There's more things that you can spend the money on than under public assistance. So we can maximize our use of federal dollars, and hopefully, and that's where Tracy's experience comes into play for us.
Yeah.
I don't know how well the townships or the villages can handle.
Yeah, well, you got, I'd say the main thing is just spend it on stuff that was related to this. Even if you, I don't know.
We have, since, yesterday on the board next door, we had our list. That list has been taken out and prioritized, because one, we really want with the advent, we just don't know how much money we're getting. So what do we really
Yeah.
the PPEs at the top.
You know what our biggest COVID expense is? The 50% we lost on sales tax in our cars. Turn that in once and see how that floats.
I don't think we're gonna have to be a little more specific about that 50% that we bought with that money.
Could we give ourselves a grant?
Well, I don't know. And that was the next question I had. Giving businesses a grant, giving a car dealership a grant probably wouldn't help increase our sales tax any, but any way we could shore that back up a little bit.
This is like, okay, here's almost $1 million.
Yeah,
Carte blanche to basically, if you can figure out a way it relates to COVID, then buy it. I just, and the bid limit has been raised from 50,000 to 100,000.
yeah,
Under federal grant guidelines, you just need 3 quotes.
yeah.
So, just to spend money, hey, great.
Yeah, yeah.
We could use money to shore up our, work from home.
Expenses to improve telework capabilities for public employees.
Yes. And we have that included on our list of items.
I think the payroll expenses you just need to be careful on, because it says here on this slideshow, in bold, substantially dedicated to mitigating or responding to COVID public health emergency. So I'll use like my example of my office.
Yeah.
We're not substantially dedicated to COVID-related people. We take precautions, but
No.
we're helping the public in general. But I would say if you hire an additional person to clean, and their duty is to disinfect, then that would cover it.
Yeah.
Now, we did have some extra overtime that was paid out at the landfill, and it's definitely related to COVID because everybody's out of a job or was laid off. They were hauling more stuff into the landfill. They had to work overtime. We know it here, but I don't know if you can explain that to the state if they'd say, no, that ain't gonna work. But it really was.
I think they're thinking more hospitals and things
Well, I would
like that.
think if you wanted to do the landfill, then you would say that this person had additional expenses because they had to be separated and items like that. And I don't know if they did items, stuff like that. But if they bought plexiglass or whatever
They want,
to do that,
they did that.
that's fine. But the general working at the landfill, I'm not sure. If you hired somebody to sit at the front desk of the house, just say the Hans Center, because I know that's a concern, to check everybody that comes in, that would be an expense that is specifically or substantially dedicated to that.
Yeah, right.
We could even, Mark's already got the funds, but we could pick up the cost of Pam, the health nurse at the courthouse. We could pick up her costs. Health Commissioner said, no, he's covered under a couple. So, all of a sudden,
And
I
then
would imagine there's going to be counties and cities, of course, in the state that have been overrun with a lot of COVID costs. We really haven't.
We're in a different situation than Lucas County or even Wood County, we didn't.
And then there's grants for small businesses.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I think we should.
Yeah.
But there's also, there are certain requirements that need to be met. And I'm reading this, it's like, applications are selected on a lottery basis, not first come, first served, must have under 50 employees, under 1 million annual revenue, 35% decline from March to April, compared to March to April 2019, not received other federal assistance, including the PPP program. Eligible expenses are mortgage, rent, payroll, utilities, PPP, and other supplies, and must be spent within 90 days. So you know, we have some small businesses that were closed and hurt. Do they meet all these requirements?
We got one, I know of one that's not gonna reopen because of this thing, so I don't know what.
If they don't reopen, I'm not sure they would
They
be
would
eligible
be
for this
eligible,
program.
yeah.
What about salons, did they receive money from September?
No, that would be,
Salons or barbers?
Yeah, salons are, yeah. Yeah. You know, like, yeah, barbers that sat at home for 6 weeks and didn't cut hair, they lost all their income.
File for unemployment, isn't it?
Well, no, they're self-employed.
they're self-employed.
I mean, I know the people that own tanning salons over in Cleveland area, and fortunately, their business is set up that the husband is an employee of the business, so he could draw unemployment, and that's what they lived on, their family lived on, his unemployment check, because they were shut down, you know. Then they come to find out that, well, should have probably run them all, because it kills the germ. So, I don't know.
But then there's the ineligible expenses. Expenses covered by insurance, payroll or benefit expenses for employees whose work duties are not substantially dedicated. Expenses that have been or will be reimbursed by other federal programs, reimbursement to third parties for donated items or services. Can't give out bonuses other than hazard pay or overtime. It could pay for some of that. It can't pay for legal settlements, capital expenditures to broad economic development purposes. So you can't buy an oven for a restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that. But I would caution on that, like workforce bonuses other than hazard or overtime, because if I go back to this other one, it states in here about hazard pay that it can't be across the board percentage or something like that. It does say something in here because it's got to be specific for people that are with, where did I read that at? There's a hitch in here about, again, it goes to our substantially dedicated to responded to COVID-19. Where's that at? Hazard pay for duty related to COVID-19 employees who are substantially dedicated to responded to COVID-19, but across the board hazard pay is ineligible.
Okay.
So you couldn't pay everybody in the auditor's office gets hazard pay.
Yeah.
But, like for maintenance, having to stay around to sanitize and put the hours, additional overtime hours for that, yes.
So I think if you document that, you'd probably be safe with that, yeah.
Did we have anything like that? I mean, did we pay
I don't, did we,
Very,
extra?
very low, if any.
also helped that, we had limited access to the courthouse.
Yeah.
The judges were
Shut
doing
down.
very little
Yeah.
in-house,
And there again,
court work.
our lives here are totally different than, Cuyahoga County. My God, imagine that. Just imagine that.
I
amount.
keep thinking that our lives would be different if the virus had gotten into our long-term care centers.
Yeah.
And how quickly, it would have spread out from there.
Oh, and it's back at the jail again, we got shut down again. We're taking prisoners here, but we got red lines going to the prisons, we can't take them, because one of ours got tested positive. So, so we're on hold again to go to the prisons right now.
It's going to kind of continue to be a moving target until.
Yeah, till they get, no, he said we quarantined that whole unit, but there's nobody there that's sick. They're not showing symptoms, but they tested.
So my purpose of today is to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. When I get more exact money, I will forward that information to you guys. When I receive the money, or know when we're gonna receive the money, I'll
Yeah.
forward that to you guys. And then it's just something that we have prepared for. We
Yeah.
have the resolutions, we filed, or we went to the portal, and then use it wisely.
As far as account line, are you going to be doing each department, or are we just doing one COVID line?
I am dealing directly with the money with the commissioners. If you guys want to go to the departments, you can do that, but in my opinion, any payment of this money is approved by these guys here.
And that'll be that second line you're going
And
to.
that's how we have, the approval process already set up. And you'll be getting some additional information. Tracy's working and Nick are working on a mini procurement guide.
Mhm.
And, one, it has to be, the number one, it has to be COVID related. So on each request for money will be a project.
Yep.
And, comes from the commissioners, we have PPE. The health commissioner signs off whether he feels that that is an appropriate COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
necessary expense. And then it's signed off by the three of us.
And I encourage just keep that process. So, I mean, suggestion, if the commissioners wanted to have a department head meeting and they give a suggestion, but even like what you said earlier, you have a list, you have a priority of that list, and it's up to you guys, in my opinion, on how to spend it.
Which we've paid some COVID costs for other departments under the COVID line,
Yeah.
so I think it would
But
be.
this money here, because, I mean, ultimately, for example, if you choose, you could make it all small business grants and do it that way. If there's that big a need and that's what you want to do that. So that's your priority, that's your priority.
So if we would want to make it to a grant for small businesses, how would we actually go about that? Would they have to apply? Let's just take, Spangler's, we know that they did, I haven't been in there yet, but somebody said they put up petitions and stuff. Let's say, Chad says, hell, I put in $2,000 into that. Does he apply to us? Can we give him a grant for that then? Because it's all COVID.
From what I was reading here, Bob, what I would suggest you do is that it did say that it has to be done on a lottery basis. I would think that you would have like a window of opportunity to apply. Here's the requirements to apply and the information. And then if the deadline is Friday, then Friday afternoon or Monday or whatever time, you pull them out and say, this is what you get, this is what you get. And then you could also say these grants are capped at $2,000 each. That's what we're gonna give. And then just do it that way.
Okay.
But they were gonna have to meet certain requirements. Again, like I mentioned, you can't buy a new oven
No,
because of that.
but my whole thought goes back to these petitions and maybe I don't know, some places are putting tape. Like we ate at Adams the other morning for breakfast. They had taped off is all they did, every other booth. And they pulled some of their tables out. There's not much cost involved in that, but putting up petitions, I think, there's a cost. Well, there is a cost involved in taking tables out.
Yeah,
You got less customers. You got less customers.
But with that, Kevin, with that lottery, it's, as the applications would come in, they could be reviewed, to see, is what they're asking for, does that qualify?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, this goes into the lottery box, this one, no, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Or they've received, some of the PPP money, the payroll money.
Yeah.
Okay, so that they don't qualify. And then after the deadline, we've got, this box here, a lottery, and we just start.
Right. So let's go back again. Salons, number one, barbers. There's a barber in Holgate. I know he wasn't working. He's walking around the street all the time because the poor guy was bored to death. He couldn't cut hair. Hair salons, and my wife's hair salon, they were shut down. Can those people come in and apply for lost income because of this?
As long as they didn't apply for the PPP.
Yes, I'm wondering if
As long as they didn't apply for that, yeah. Because if I'm a barber and I'm a one-man shop, I don't pay myself a wage, you know. I don't know what my income is. I mean, it depends on if 3 people come in today or 12 people come in today, so.
I guess I would ask, and I don't know the details on it, are they eligible as an independent contractor to file for unemployment? And did they receive unemployment? I mean, that would be a requirement.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we know in some cases, if they did, they're making more money.
You're right, you know, yeah, so if they didn't.
So then you look at the hardship
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know the detail, I'm just saying that, I don't know the details.
A
No,
lot of,
I mean, this could get deeper than, and maybe we're making way too much
But
out
if
of
you
it.
go to the business,
People will.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Think of every stupid scenario, because somebody will think of that stupid scenario if,
so if you want to go that route, I mean, I would certainly say that you'd have to say, we're going to cap the money at $20,000. We're going to give them out at a max of $2,000 each, and you do it, if they're eligible, you do it by a lottery.
Yeah.
And if you've got 10 of them, everybody gets $2,000, if that's what they ask for. If you got 15, well, 5 people are
Well,
not going to receive it.
that's where Hamilton County and some other counties have done some stuff, the larger ones.
yeah,
So that's a good guideline.
yeah,
And we'll have 2 people here shortly that can, at 11, then we can talk about that.
yeah, right.
John Honig, Tracy's
Yeah.
been talking to Dr. John Honig at CCAO
Mhm.
about this, so Tracy's intent is as we go, if we just, we'll give him a call and see what he
Yeah,
thinks,
yeah.
and
I think so too.
keep him in the loop.
Yeah.
And,
Okay,
But yeah, I think there's enough information available to us. We just have to go out and get it,
yeah, yeah,
about how to handle.
different things like
And if it
that.
looks like it's going to be too burdensome, well, what can we do to simplify it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then just take the risk if somebody's gonna get their feelings hurt and.
Well, that's, if you do a lottery, yeah, somebody's gonna, but,
Yeah, but if the criteria's, and very possible, say we have $200,000.
yeah,
And we only have 15 applications
yeah,
that are good.
yeah, they're good.
And we just
give everybody,
take each one at a maximum amount of, say, $5,000.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody gets it.
yeah. Everybody gets a chance to put in.
You basically set the program for that, and then if you want to, you can probably do a second round of that same program.
Yeah, if you got, yeah, if you
As long
got.
as, by a certain time frame, you gotta have it spent by October 15th, so.
Yeah, and that's, it kind of reminds me of our allocation money.
Yeah,
We had
yeah,
$120,000,
yeah.
and we set our criteria.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
there were, like on the demolitions.
Yeah.
If you meet
And
this,
one demolition that really qualified,
Yeah.
and that was Deschler. And Donnell.
you had her done,
He
you had her done.
everything in place. Who would, if the county goes ahead and said, well, the land bank can take the property in lieu of taxes, Donnell has, who's paying the fee to, get the paperwork done to transfer it to the
Yeah,
land bank?
yeah,
Donnell says, I've got somebody who'll donate the money. Cool.
Yeah.
The village would match 50%, which was our criteria. But it came down to, we, fully funded, because of the lack of applications, fully funded 2 projects in Deschler.
that's the first time in that I've been a commissioner that we didn't have, that we had to do that.
Yeah, we fully funded a Meals
Yeah.
on Wheels truck.
Yeah,
And, had $20,000 left over that,
we're gonna still kind of, it's in limbo a little bit, kinda, I think. Some of it can go to Meals on Wheels. and
yeah, some
something.
of, that money could go to Meals on Wheels, and if Penny has another avenue, doesn't want the money, there's a project in
Melinda.
Melinda that is being talked about, but we selected as an alternate, which, is another house
Another
demolition,
demolition.
but there would be plenty of money there. If Penny only wanted $5,000 or $6,000
Yeah,
of that.
right, we could do that other house, yeah. Okay,
So we learn as we go. If you guys ever have questions, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
And if I don't have the answer, I'll do my best to try to find it.
Well, and-
If you hear anything from your auditors group,
Yep.
district and statewide.
Yeah, I think we all have, like you say, we're in this together
Right.
Yeah.
I'll pass it along.
Yeah.
and it's
And
new.
then that will go back to the County Commissioners Association.
Yeah,
So the director and, one of the
staff.
policy team are gonna be here at 11.
Oh, nice.
Cheryl and John Light.
Yeah.
Thanks. They were here for Tom's.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. Yep.
And Adam Trooper came along.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just Cheryl and John there. We're with the Wood County Commissioners this morning, then us, and then they're having lunch with Fulton County, then having dinner with Allen County, or they had
Oh, are
Allen County last night.
they?
They're making their rounds.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Cheryl is the new director,
Yeah.
making her rounds.
Okay, that's
Good
it.
deal.
Let me know if you need anything else.
Okay, yep, then we'll, if we learn anything at 11 o'clock, we'll let you know that too. We'll find out.
I think that at the bottom line is there are some points that we need to protect ourselves. I mean, there's some things, steps that we have to do, but, and who knows? This money may never be looked at, or we could, 2 years from now, get a call going,
Hey, yeah,
we're here to look at
you
it.
know, that's the bottom line on this thing. These auditors are all busy already. Who are they gonna stick on this, you know?
You don't know.
Yeah,
And that's
or will they?
that is the thing is, and, you know, my guess is like in other things, if it's improperly spent,
Yeah,
then you have to pay it back.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And so let's just, since we have someone that knows
And Dick Tracy's got a pretty good handle on a lot of that stuff, you know.
on this federal grant stuff.
What day did you say we were doing VORs, those hearings? I know you gave it to me, and I got it on my calendar. I was just checking to make sure I had it on my calendar. It's in July, right?
Yeah, I think it's the 23rd rings. a bell.
23rd, that's it. I got it on there already.
We have a total of,
16.
we had 5.
Mm-hmm.
The one, that straw bale place down in Neshler,
Yeah.
never returned the form. And then, so when we sent the hearing notice, they returned the form, which I figured that's what would happen.
Yeah.
And so now
Brought it to
we're,
their attention.
yeah, you know, like, we're giving you what you want, but if you don't return the form,
Yeah.
you gotta come see it.
Right.
And so,
When you go see your day,
yeah.
go look at the old Clausen building.
I didn't know.
Envirorscape,
Mm-hmm.
they have new siding on it.
Is that right?
You wouldn't believe, it looks like a different building.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, it looks nice. There, yeah. The old Quonset's building, you know, that was a dump back there. It looked good back there, so.
No talk of defunding any of the sheriff's office or anything?
Say what?
No
We
talk.
haven't heard anything, and we haven't heard anybody disappear because they were talking about it. I just can't believe this stupidity.
What are you talking about?
Defunding
Police department?
law enforcement.
Oh, defunding law, jeez. That is just, yeah. Yeah, why don't we do that?
But these city councils that are talking about it.
Yeah. What are we thinking?
Okay, think of it. It's a political topic, I know. Okay, and we'll take a large city like Minnesota. You want to defund the police department, that's fine. Relate this to school districts. School districts, you have rich school districts, non-rich school districts. And you hear that talking all the time, that you got some school districts that are immaculate because the property taxes are high and they pay for all that. And you have others that are struggling because their levels are low and things like that. So you have that imbalance. You defund the police department in a large city, don't you think then that some subdivisions will go, fine, we'll just hire our own security,
Yeah.
because we can afford to do that.
Yeah.
Where other sections of the town won't be able to afford it,
Yeah.
where do you think the crime's gonna be?
Right back where it was in the first place.
Well, then you will have those businesses in that area where there's no protection, just pack up and leave.
They'll leave. Oh, I would.
Or they'll get stolen blind and,
Yeah.
and then they're gone.
And then I'll move my business over to the section that has and those sections of the city will just die, or that's where the criminals will be.
Some will grow,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
sections
Yeah.
will grow, and some won't.
Yeah.
And so it's, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that scenario, but that's actually, there's a point to that, yeah. I mean, you defund your police department, you're not paying for that anymore. Oh, wow, now we got money left over. Yeah, the people that know how to manage their money will have their own police force. Now, what kind of jurisdiction?
Capitalism right there will find a way
Yeah.
for those. Some will survive, some
We
will.
might as well throw out judges and jails too then, because we won't need it anymore. Because why would we need a jail if we don't have a police department or a sheriff's office? Yeah.
What do I say every year at budget time? If we tell people to not get in trouble and act nice, we could cut a lot of our,
Well, pastor had a sermon the other night in church, and he says, it was about the Ten Commandments, and then, of course, and he has quoted, where it says, follow the Ten Commandments. He goes, if everybody just follow the Ten Commandments. When I walked out of church, I was the last one out, and I said, Pastor, if you could get everybody to follow the Ten Commandments, I could cut about half of your tax dollars. He goes, the Holy Spirit, Bob, the Holy Spirit. I said, yeah, I think it's going to take something. And which is probably right, but yeah, I said, that's where our money is spent. And it's all basically Ten Commandments when you think about it.
I mean, they certainly serve a vital importance to protect the citizens and to protect the county.
Yeah.
But if everybody minded their own business and got along,
Yeah. Well,
we wouldn't have to have that.
go worldwide with that. If everybody just minded their own business and played together well in the sandbox,
We wouldn't have militaries.
wouldn't need military. Yeah, wouldn't need it. We haven't, in the course of history, we've never been without military, so.
Well, a few have tried.
Yeah. Don't work. It don't work.
They don't.
It's too bad. It's too bad because it's wrong, It is what it is.
You're supposed to have somebody about solar.
Yeah, 10:30, she's supposed to be here.
Feminine person?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's,
Is she doing a Zoom?
Oh, she's coming out.
Okay. She's late. She better hurry up.
I drove me crazy about this meeting. So, I just checked my email, like
I didn't realize Amy's family, they got solar panels. The TG's.
Back behind.
Yeah, man. I don't drive down their road hardly ever. I drive by Christopher's house,
Yeah.
but, he lives right on 18, but I don't drive down Road 5, and I haven't seen that, so.
And then, we don't tax that because of the usage of that, because it's personal.
Yeah.
It's similar to like, if you drive around, you'll see some farming that has wind turbines and things like that.
That's just used for their,
Yeah, it has something to do with if it's not being resold or put back
Right.
on the grid or whatever, and there's different requirements for
Yeah.
that. Like, I could put a solar panel on my house,
yeah.
but if it's just to sort of offset my usage, or I think it doesn't really offset, it just sort of stabilizes the usage.
Yes, right.
Then that's different than if it's
Yeah.
like what we have out here, where this is legit to pay
Yeah, right.
to the company or something.
Take them masks off, you guys. D-Mask, come on in.
wonderful, I just thought that made
Nice.
sense.
What was the solar person about?
About CCAO, the solar program, that,
to do your own
Um,
do I need to give you some?
like the electric,
Thought you were going.
crap.
No, we are, but I said if you wanna have lunch on
But it wasn't like to put up another solar field, right?
No, it's the, I can't come up with that word, Kevin, for crying out loud.
All right. I was gonna stick around for it,
Yeah, it would be interesting to hear what she has to say, but how I'm trying to think of that. Can't think of that word, doesn't matter. What is that? Is a man reading? Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
You were gonna be here.
You did tell me?
He did.
You did
I
tell me?
just was talking to him.
Oh, you were?
So, we'll find out.
He was good. How was he, but wasn't able to.
Come on in, sit
Good
down.
morning. I'm sit down.
Yeah.
What's that? I said I want to sit down.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it's all wiped out, it's all, there's no germs.
Do you want me to order?
Don't have to for me.
No. Very good. How is everyone?
Cheryl's making a call. She's in hiding.
Oh, is she?
Okay.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, we're all.
Oh, no.
Is that you? No, that's not.
I think we just found out.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Miller, you have some coffee?
Yes, would you like?
Coffee, I'd love some.
Do you want one of these? I mean, you can stay in the long time.
Tanker, or it's very close, it's somewhere towards,
Shake hands.
Yeah, you wanna shake hands,
I
yeah.
know.
I've shaken hands because I forget, we were supposed to do that, one guy said, we weren't supposed to do that. Yeah.
It's gonna be the new norm, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so too.
But I heard the other day that people with O-type blood don't get this disease, and I'm O-negative, so I'm good. I'm not gonna do it.
I think I'm O positive.
You said.
Well, then you're good. Yeah, we could probably hug.
I thought he said old.
I thought you said old.
I did too.
Old.
I thought he said old.
It's old. It's old, not old.
That is not.
I'm old too, but. Huh? You don't think that's true? I heard it from Dave Clack. Do you think Dave Clack is a
Wait, I
liar?
have heard about the blood types. I don't know, I mean, nothing proven.
Negative is supposed to be, you're supposed to be an alien. I read that somewhere.
Maybe I am an alien. Maybe you don't know.
I'm
You don't know what I
A-negative.
am, yeah.
Maybe we
We'll be right back.
Sure. Getting coffee?
Yes, he's getting.
Well, I apologize again for being late. And then I was gonna call you, and I was like, I don't even know if you would take the phone call.
and stuff up on the wall, but. Good morning, Amy.
And it's so nice to see everyone in person. I've never gone 6 weeks without doing in person.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
And, you know, we worked from home for about 6 weeks, and then we were able to come back in, and I guess we're in week 4 now. And now the meetings are ramping up, which is nice to see and be a part of.
Yes,
So,
We've always worked in person.
yeah, we've, just like this.
oh, I've probably rescheduled at least 18
Yeah, we
meetings.
rescheduled, because she was gonna do it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we still prefer using Zoom.
you do?
Yes, that has worked out. Honestly, that has worked out very well for us. One is, I think it's just gonna overall, for the country, using this technology is gonna change the way we do business. It's like, kind of like with the joint ditch meeting, some years ago, the state legislature finally passed where you could do a teleconference, video
Sure.
conference, just so it was, people public to come in and sit and listen or see, and we would drive to Bowling Green. It took longer for us to get through security up to the fifth
Right.
floor for a 4-minute meeting.
Right.
4-minute meeting. And it was great to see the commissioners, but,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and, so we still plan on, doing that as much as makes sense. Judge McCauley at Family Court, a couple of weeks ago, she had 10,000 minutes on doing hearings and,
Very good, very good.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead? All right.
Go ahead.
Good morning again. For Commissioner Safety, I don't know how much you know of how I am in front of you and the connection and so forth. You want me to give a 3-minute
Sure.
update? You two can shut your eyes if you'd like. So I work for Palmer Energy. We're independent energy consultants, and we have been partners with the County Commissioners Association of Ohio for many years.
Yeah.
It's the energy program of the CCAO.
Yep.
We are the vetted consultants for it. I think we're in years 12 or 13, something like that.
Under this deal, you started dealing with you over 20 years ago.
Okay. I've been
Back when we had our own natural gas supply.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
right. But over the years, it's grown, the program's grown, and we have 5 areas that we assist the counties. Electric purchasing for facilities, natural gas purchasing for the facilities, and then electric and natural gas aggregation, and then solar. And in your case, we are only assisting you right now in electric aggregation. And that is because Napoleon is a muni and you cannot shop, and that's where your facilities are. And, yes, and then Ohio Gas is your utility, and there's not shopping allowed there as well. However, in the townships, it's Toledo Edison, and we can assist there. So in your case, we have all of the townships, besides Deschler, Bartlow Township, but we have all of the others in electric aggregation. Are you familiar with electric aggregation? All right, let me give you a quick rundown of what that is. So it's a way for the community, for the residents and small businesses to all be included in purchasing of their generation. So we're a deregulated state, and because of that, you have the opportunity to shop, anyone has opportunity to shop for the generation portion of the electricity. So that comes to about half of your bill is regulated through the utility, and then the deregulated so you can shop around. So there's the Apples to Apples website that you can go on through the PUCO, and you can pick, if you want a fixed rate, a variable rate, and so forth. So an opt-out electric aggregation program is something that has to be on the ballot. It's put it on the ballot, you vote to have it or not have it, and then once it passes, which it has, and again, all of your townships, a few of your villages, and we recently added Hamler as well, so that it's bulk purchasing power in a sense. So when it passes, and you're doing it through the county, you're the aggregators, so everyone cedes authority to the commissioners. We have one aggregate, so this all goes to the PUCO, and we do all the vetting and process for you. We take care of all the paperwork. So we do the RFP process. We go out to the suppliers that do that, because that's a completely different animal than taking a facility and going out for pricing. And so in your case, you have, let me get my notes. you are currently, you are up in June of 2021. So the next contract's coming up soon. You're currently in that 6%, 4% savings off the utility with Energy Harbor. And in end of this year, we will go out and do an RFP with multiple suppliers to get competitive pricing for the next contract. And when that all occurs, and I will present to you our recommendation. We're very transparent. We'll show you who we went out to, 12, 24, and 36-month terms. Our fee is 4.5 mini mils, 0.00045 per kilowatt hour. Whoever the winning supplier is who pays us. So there's not a line item for Palmer Energy or the CCAO. When we send out the RFP, we ask for the terms. We ask that there's no early termination fee for the contract. As if a resident gets in, they can get out at any time, and then it has our fee in it. So whatever that rate comes back at has the fee of Palmer Energy. And then of our fee of 4.5 mini mils, we share that with the CCAO, the county, and the townships. And that's just the contract that was put in place many years ago, and that goes across the board. So we really take care of all the all the PUCO filings that have to be done, the RFP process. It's truly, we take care of that, and I come to you and lay it out for you. When we recommend the top 2 or 3 suppliers for the from the RFP, the prosecutor's office reviews them, redlines the documents until we come to a real good, crisp contract, 1, 2, or 3. We do a refresh, and that day I come back to you and you sign on the bottom line, because the energy market changes every day. So when the RFP comes back, and when we send out this RFP, it's not just going to be your communities, it's going to be multiple counties, multiple townships, multiple villages, and then it gets all broken down. So any questions on that? I just threw a lot at you, but, okay. So, but the reason I'm here today is that fifth.
You put your electric company, city council.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I've been on the committees, but, so I still can agree with it.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. I think the first 4 years I was on council, it just, and then finally, Nelson Gerken was, still city manager. But it took a while to be able to even ask an intelligent question.
well, I've been at Palmer for 8 years, and sometimes when Mark Fry, the owner of Palmer, speaks, sometimes, and there'll be a few of us in the office, and we'll all be like, Mark, you just went over our heads again, so.
Yeah.
And if it's going over our heads, and we work there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I right?
Mark can get in the weeds right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I dealt with Mark Gerken was at AM. Oh, he was one that could just.
Yes, yeah.
He
I remember him.
you'd fall up in the weeds, and he was still at a full run through the weeds. He just, yeah, just amazing.
So at this time, that's all we're doing for you, and that's all we can do in Henry County, unless you have facilities that go outside into the Edison territory. So the fifth component is solar. And a few years back, 4, I believe, we approached the counties with a solar initiative where we would look at your individual facilities. And it was a behind-the-meter type of situation where if you had a facility that was large enough and then also had adjacent or the cross-the-street field that would work for a solar array, then we could look further into seeing if that was an avenue to go down. So as we reached out, I think we were down to maybe 8 counties that actually had everything working that we would need to do. The tricky part of it was, of course, having the property in a facility that was large enough to utilize the energy that was coming off the array, and then also not utilizing that field for 20 years, because typically it's a 20-year commitment. And so, and then that was also at the time was that shortly after tariffs were put in place, and it just no longer made sense. So we stepped away, which is what our job is, to inform, research, but then whatever is still in the best interest of our clients, which is you. So now, fast forward to 2020, the market's changed. Solar has become more better and much less expensive. And we feel at this time it's really where it is in cost, and because of the market, because of natural gas and its availability, and all of that in place, it's time to look at it again, but in a different way. So now we're not looking at individual facilities, we're looking at doing a mega solar array somewhere in southern Ohio, and this is now a PPA, a purchasing power agreement, where you are essentially hedging 20 to 25% of your load in green, in solar. And the most exciting part of this that makes the most sense is that we're looking at a fixed rate. There's no incremental going up over the 20 years. So like we do in gas, which we can't do your gas, but when we do gas for facilities and so forth, we hedge. We have our meetings and we'll put a hedge in because it's on the futures market, and we're able to do that. And that is really what this is. It is a hedge of 20 to 25% of your load. Now in your case, what we're looking at is government aggregation, so the load of the GovAg. And we're looking at a 20-year PPA. We're actually looking at 2 10-year PPAs because of the, is it the Ohio Revised Code? Okay, the Ohio Revised Code, you can only do a 10-year agreement. So that's what we're looking at doing. And this, what I gave you here is pretty much a condensed version of the presentation Mark gave back in February. And it was one of those days, actually Commissioner Miller, I think you were going to come, but it was a horrible day, the weather was awful, and we only had half the attendance that we anticipated.
Was it at a board meeting?
No,
It was at,
Worthington?
hotel there.
Oh.
Because I remember,
Snowed like crazy,
it was
a
awful.
whole bunch of folks didn't.
I was here shortly before that, and we discussed it, and either, I know you were interested in coming, I don't know if you had, something else going on here, I don't recall if it was a day that you were actually in session.
We were COVID.
No, it was before.
It's actually pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID, and then we had it, and then we
Yeah.
started setting up a meeting.
Yeah.
It was a Friday, we had it set up for Friday.
It was early February.
Yeah, and we had a huge snowstorm
Yeah,
Thursday night.
because we had gone down the night before.
Wiped it out.
Yeah.
We still had 70, 75
Oh, I
people
we
in
made
it,
it there.
but we had a much, yes. So again, it's a hedge, and due to the low market, February 7th, okay. Due to the low market, where we are with the natural gas, and the fact that we are looking at a mega array that everyone would participate in receiving the 20 to 25% fixed green component.
That was crop day.
Crop day.
Oh, yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
So we would still do the 2 to 3 year contracts. We would still vet it out, but when we vet it out and we send out the RFP, now also in the terms and conditions, the suppliers know that they are looking at the entire load per se, but only 70 to 75% will be at the market of the day.
Okay.
And they have to also accept that fixed rate of that solar portion as well. And then it's a blended price on your contracts. So we're looking at initially, it could be a 4% higher rate than you would get at today's market.
Mhm.
But keep in mind, as we've been preaching over the last year or two, we are at the lowest rate that we have ever had, and there's definitely more of a possibility for the market to go up.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen in Washington. There's the carbon tax. We don't know what's going to happen with fracking down the road. So, or exports. If exports go up with natural gas, liquid natural gas, then that's going to, so there's so many more possibilities of the market going up eventually,
Yeah.
that this is again why it's considered a hedge. Because as we go through the 20 years, we're anticipating years 8 or 9 where it's going to be a wash, where the lines are going to intersect. But that's only going off of what's happening now. If all these other things come into play, that's going to be
If we could.
a shorter period of time.
We'd be rich.
The site selection will be determined by the developer, not by any one county, not by the CCAO. We will go out and vet developers. They will look at the state and what makes the most sense, but we're anticipating it's going to be a southern state.
In Ohio, you say?
Yes, it'll be in Ohio.
You don't know where it's gonna be?
No, but it will be in the southern portion of the state.
Will that stay in one RTO, or will it cross over?
No, it shouldn't cross over. And, you know, we're looking at 100 plus fields. So it will probably be the largest in the state, at least at this point.
Okay.
And we're obviously looking at all of our counties. We're looking at facility contracts, aggregation contracts, and then our partnership with the Ohio Municipal League, looking at them being part of this as well. So their cities, their villages, again, facilities, aggregation. We're looking at NOAC, which I've spoken of before, Northwest Ohio Aggregation Coalition that we have in Toledo, having them participate as well. So this could double in size depending on participation. What we are needing from you is also in here the LOI, the letter of intent, to say that you are interested in going forward. And this will then, we need that so the developer can go out and obviously look for the site, but and also come back with the number, because again, well, purchasing power, the more that we have in,
Right.
the better the price will be.
Yep.
There's also other ways of lowering the eventual price of the solar, and that's selling the SRAC, selling the capacity and so forth. And truly that is a paper shuffle of sorts. and I know Mark and Kirk as well.
Brian Keller, Northwest Signal.
Has left the conference.
We'll also, that's Rex. We will recommend that you sell the SRAX because that will also lower the price as well. Looking to see if there's anything.
Is there any market for, because that was like wind and early on solar.
Right.
That's, SRECs were the only thing that made it feasible to do anything. And then that market went to.
Right, I mean, it's selling of the SRAX is better than the wind, but sure, over time, that percentage will probably go down. But it would still make sense to assist with bringing that number down.
It should still be good for at least the first 10 years, shouldn't it? I mean, that shouldn't go away for 10 years, should it?
I don't know that.
No.
Also, with the electric aggregation, the option is still going to be there for a resident to have the solar component, the 20 to 25%. That's going to be when the opt-out letter will go out, it will say, this is your fixed rate, and it has the solar, the green component to it, and this is your rate. But if you're not interested and you'd rather be 100% market rate, then you can call and have that option. So both options will be available, and I think that's important. We have that right now in Toledo. Our contract started in May, and there was two options. There was a solar option, or if you did not want solar, then you would be 100% market rate.
Okay.
And I believe the difference is 2 mills, and it's a 2-year contract. So we are literally talking dollars at that point. And then eventually, I mean, this is only a 2-year contract, so it won't happen in this contract, but I'm assuming that the second or third, depending on what happens in our market, then it will be a flip. And at that point, we would probably just have one option because it's the cheapest and you're being green as well.
Yeah.
What other questions do you have?
Green light profile. Green light profile. We have done really well, John. There has been hardly any humor this morning.
And that's a good thing?
And that was kind of one of the first ones.
No. Someone wasn't.
Did she enter the twilight zone?
John, do you have anything?
Other than, should I give them the quote you gave me this morning already?
Yes, please do.
I received a text
Oh, boy.
this morning. It said, understand Amy from Palmer Energy is meeting with you. Take her advice, follow her lead, and get in our solar program.
From you.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're looking to have the LOIs back end of July. Everything's been pushed back, obviously, because of COVID. We initially believed we would have all these visits in by May 1st, and that's what we were looking at. But obviously, that's not the case, so now we're hitting it hard. I'm going to be in Seneca on Thursday. Last week, Kirk and I did a combined meeting with Shelby and Dark, and they are both interested in participating. And, good morning. So, I know. Tony was the one that helped me, and he ordered the pizza for lunch.
That was nice of you.
Yes.
Here's the
Yes. Yes.
Really, at this point, Amy, if we go ahead and pass the resolution and sign it, it really does not obligate us to anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
We need
And
that.
the details.
It's a letter of intent, and that's what it is, that you are intent on participating if the developers
If it comes.
can come back with what we have put into the letter of intent that we are requesting, and please, obviously, you'll read it through. If they cannot do what we're asking, just like in an RFP, and then
Okay.
you're not obligated.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
City of Cincinnati had done one recently, and most of the data that Mark has used to analyze the
Yeah.
proposal comes off the fixed rate that the City of Cincinnati got. And theirs is a little smaller array, theirs is gonna be in
Correct.
southern Ohio also. So we're using that as the benchmark, but I mean, our price could actually be better than that. If our price is better than that, and then the catch up and go ahead period is a lot sooner than
Okay.
6 to 8 years.
Yes,
So I haven't, Jeff, you probably have the most recent information about solar from AM. I don't know, I just have not followed the market. I do know there was an article in the paper that talked about even though power usage was down, the price was up. But that's also going to be, we knew the price was going to go up because of the RTO.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of what precipitated my question for, is it going to stay in PGM or, because there were a number of times that interconnect, what the point was on council, the interconnect between PGM and MISO, you got hit there pretty good. So now, not only are you paying two, but you're paying.
Yeah.
Interesting, sure.
Yeah, you pay every peddler that comes down the road, you're paying some more money for it. So that's, yeah.
And so I just have not stayed up on what, the RTOs, what's going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Personally, I think it's probably a good idea. Let's see
Oh, yeah.
let's see where this goes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think we went for it, yeah.
Try to read that over and maybe look at it Thursday.
Excuse me, why don't you just go ahead and send it to Glenn? Basically, any contact information like that.
Sure, and now that we're talking about that, something I didn't mention, so the LOI, absolutely. With the PPA, it does have, so, let me back up. So when we do the RFPs for GovAg or for facilities, prosecutors redline the agreements. And so your agreement with Dynegy may look different than Defiance's because you have different prosecutors and different things.
Different ideas, yep.
With the PPA, we have to have one unified contract. So, and this is why the CCO Palmer is having the Ohio State Prosecutors
We're getting a
Association.
group of prosecutors
Right.
together to look at it.
And so that does have to be,
I hope.
yes,
5 will be pushing it, hopefully we can get it down to just 3, but the idea is Amy's saying is sanction it so they don't run around with a bunch of different questions, because to get the power purchase agreement in place, gotta have one set of standard
Yeah,
facts.
you go to any of the prosecutors
Right.
with the same document, they look at it a little bit different.
yes,
And if you give it to prosecutor A 1 week and you give it to him the next week, it's another different one.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
Um,
So that was something I had forgotten to mention.
that this at least will go through the prosecutor's office, they're at least familiar with
Yeah.
what's going on. So, yeah, if you, Christie, if you would get that, and Michael, whoever's going to be reviewing it, and we'll get it on our agenda.
Do you recall how large that, solar array for Cincinnati is?
It's only like 50, half of what we were talking about.
Okay, all right,
Because it's primarily city of Cincinnati,
right.
so.
There's been a developer nosing around Henry County
Mm-hmm.
for 1,200 acre, trying to put together 1,200 contiguous acres.
Yeah, and you guys get it, I mean, it's gonna be in southern Ohio on a hillside somewhere that faces south, because that land isn't nearly as valuable, and it gets, goes better with the hillside, gets direct sun on it, so. Yeah, it'll be in Ohio, it'll be green energy, and it'll be,
And I don't remember.
And it's a
Pretty
PPA,
short.
so we don't own the array.
Right.
So, and that's also key.
Yeah.
no major, we don't recommend for it. Yeah, well, yeah, we buy it from them, but, yeah.
Right. And the question has come up in, some counties like Van Wert, Paulding, where they have the wind,
The wind, yeah.
and the, you know, the pros and cons of both. And
Yeah.
we've gone the solar route because of a few things. It seems to be a less volatile, less discussion. I know some counties have had some issues with the wind due to a mile out, you can see them in the sky. A mile out, you do not see a solar array. There's the bird migration, and also the span of ground you need, of land you need for the wind. And the most important part probably is solar is being used the most during the day and in the sun. So that's when the load capacity, everything is more expensive, and that's when you want it working on your behalf. So wind occurs more in the evening, off peak, not on peak, and that's when the solar is working. So I know you have more, so you know where I'm at. If you want me to come back out, answer any other questions, or give me a call.
Or give you this.
Or, better yet, I do.
It was good to see you.
You too. But then again, it will be probably the end of this year, or very beginning of '21, that we'll be back doing the contract for the go-bag.
We know it just takes a while.
And with that as well, because you've been in that long-term government aggregation, it's, I think, very important for me to do a township association 5-minute speech, so we remind the townships, and then I'll go out to the villages as well, that what you've been in, because they're gonna get the calls. I wanna make sure they know that they can contact Palmer, because they've been in something so long, they don't even know they're in something.
Right.
Palmer sponsored the township dinner.
When is that?
We don't know anymore.
Well, that's been take 14 times already,
Just let me know.
Usually Perkins do most of the time here.
I know I've spoken at it before, but it's been a while, so let me.
We haven't, there's been 2 meetings and we haven't.
Right, so let's see what happens.
We have to see what happens with the flu first. See if we can have a real
So
life.
I can do Zoom.
If we start out with beer, typically the beer waits until, well, no, it doesn't.
They usually wait till
So
after.
usually,
It's
the
bad.
virus will be killed for
Yeah.
sure in Henry County.
Oh, yeah,
Especially if we're in the southern.
Very good.
Okay, Amy, thank
Good to see you all.
Thank you, nice seeing you. Come back anytime.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's mine, first time here too, wherever you wanna. Hi, Bob.
How are you?
Yes, how are you?
Can't complain. Can't complain. Still here. That's the main thing.
We get sprayed down when we come to the.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Arms up.
Arms up, yeah.
They help
That's
to
a
get
cool
you
story,
the
this.
look done.
Temperature thing? You guys feel the temperature? No, you're not. Went into Wood County this morning, they took our temperature.
Did it?
At security,
Yes.
we do too.
We do it courthouse, yeah.
When we actually probably tracked down some,
Thermometers.
thermometer for commercial, used for commercial application, not real, head temperature taking. The closer the head, the more accurate they are. You come on up.
I'm trying to go up to my seat and get.
No, why don't you stay put?
Oh, it's not a deal.
Come on up. And,
I'm going to boys room for good coffee and.
that worked pretty well.
Yes. I don't think that's what we just. Okay, thank you. How are you? Good, I'm Cheryl.
Jeff, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
She's the head honcho.
I'm the longest one standing.
Wow.
Big G.
The longest one standing.
Yeah.
24 years.
Wow.
When I first got involved with CCA, that wasn't too long after I became commissioner. And when we came down, I remember we were standing at, I don't remember what hotel it was or what room. It was the afternoon meeting for new commissioners. And he came over and asked what the story of Henry County. But at the time, this gentleman by the name of Larry Long, that was president. Once you don't have to meet Larry Long, he never forgets.
Yeah.
And if you mention about something about Japan, you remember something, he would remember.
He would.
Cheryl is
The neck
Yeah.
pretty well. It's good.
If you don't believe me, walk through the State House with her sometime. I did already, and that day I met you down there. But she knows everybody here. She knows everybody, and you do. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so,
That's your job.
and,
People are important.
when it came about, the board meeting in the executive session, when it came about to, hire a new director, usually the board's not really unanimous. And it's kind of fun because it's split Republican, Democrat, large, small. It's just, can be real interesting discussions. And, the board didn't hesitate. I think that was one of the shortest discussions. The longest it took was to find out if Cheryl Nichols.
Thanks. Well, the nice part is we've got a great team at CCA now, and so John and I are sort of approaching this as a partnership. And you've been with the association,
Not as long as you.
and I'm the longest one standing.
Which is bizarre. She's got 24 in, Beth Miller has 21, and I'm at 20, and we're the 3 senior staff members. So it's like,
And you're old.
yeah, well, I won't anyway.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like.
No, I know.
We're at the top of the heap.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the folks that are working for the association and the insurance companies, they're just really, really great folks. And they've done a great job, and we've worked really hard. She worked her tail end off to get the deal done to fix the unfortunate relationship issues.
Yeah.
And we're by that, and,
That makes me feel very good. That's all over because that was horrible.
For me, once there was a change in leadership, the other parts just got fall into place.
Yeah.
And that's really, it took out the issues, and sometimes that involves people moving on to other jobs, but that's all part of it.
I was in township government for 11 years before I came here as township trustee, and then I came here, and this is my 12th year here. And I've never attended a meeting quite like that, the one we had in Columbus that day. There were people shouting, and I thought, Well, usually that guy's kind of quiet. And we were in Switzerland.
We were otherwise known as near Cleveland that day. We did not attend. So the policy team, we tried to stay out of.
It was a good place to have to be. It was kind of mean.
It was,
Yeah.
it
Well, he was in the CCAO board meeting, and I was in the consortium board meeting, and both were kind of ugly, I think. Yeah.
It was very interesting to see how, when the full board, how the different ones interacted, and what became very apparent quickly, how things just turned. And, but I'm glad, somebody asked me about it, and I said, there's nothing here that can't be overcome. This is my opinion, I have my opinion on how things, it probably should be handled, and for the most part, it's been handled that way. Great, that's okay, it's behind us. We understand what brought us to this point. We took care of it, moved on. History's history. Let's go.
Yep.
The other dynamic I think you see is, as I sometimes say, the association has matured over time. And so he had mentioned Larry Long, and Larry Long had been with the association 37 years, the bulk of it as the executive director. And Larry worked 14, 16-hour days regularly, so his social life was his job. And all of the great commissioners around the state. He had few friends outside of all the great members we have in the state hospital. But his job was his life, his passion, his everything. There's never going to be another Larry Long who comes around, who starts the programs from scratch, who puts that kind of love and devotion, but more so time, to maybe the downfall of his first marriage and other family choices. Where I think the association is now is you've got a really great organization, great members with stable programs and matured, along with new programs that are advancing with the service program. You're doing solar, you're doing great stuff with Kirk and some other programs coming down the road. And you've got these great managers. So John Brownlee, who runs Corsa, is a great manager. You've got, I think he is.
I'm never going to tell him that.
You're going to keep him
I'll tell Frank about that.
Okay. And SEPCO has matured from when we helped create it years ago. And
SEPCO, they added 4 counties last year, and there's a very realistic possibility of adding 3, if not 5 this year. COVID kind of got us in a whatever, but I mean, there are people starting to talk about the benefits of the health insurance program. So.
I see us operating more in a team structure as opposed to a top-down. And we're working to create an environment within not just the management team, but the office, from Dress for Your Day. Because we have some people who never go out of the building, who would love to come in jeans, and they stay in their office all day. And the management team tried it on a trial basis, and we implemented it for non-board meeting days. And morale has just been really positive. And you're doing some stuff with monthly breakfasts when we ever go back to being in the office fully. Right now, we're half the staff in one week, half the staff the other week.
So you just still hold them yourself, don't you?
As your house.
Your, cook for myself.
Your breakfast casserole?
My breakfast. Look, I'm a social. I'm a social animal, and I've about hit my limit of. So I've been inviting people in for dinner or breakfast. And just to have friends in and just, have food and then sit in the family room and talk for a while.
So he was very excited to get to come and visit today.
That's great.
So he almost had us booked through dinner tonight, but I'm like, can we do the Spear Barn another night, because I need to get back tonight.
This one?
In Wyandotte.
In Upper Sandusky.
Upper Sandusky.
Yeah, because we have breakfast tomorrow morning at 8:30, so I mean, we're sitting 6 counties in 2 days.
Are you, do you have time to hit Deeds on the way home?
Actually, that is our,
On the way.
no, that is our 4 o'clock stop. Commissioner Beckholm will be meeting us at Deeps at 4 o'clock.
There you go. There you go.
And years ago, we learned how the location near the courthouse is not open on Mondays, but we found a second location eventually that is open on Mondays. So we're closed now.
That's the way you do it.
That's right.
Black walnut ice cream, here I come.
You can't get that everywhere.
No, you can't.
But that makes it fun. When you go out, you've got, it's like, when I come to Columbus, I usually hit Panera Bread and Lima. It just happens to be going right by.
Yeah.
So I have to stop there. Usually a bagel or maybe 2 won't even last me to Huntsville.
No.
Sad thing is, we know where Huntsville is.
Yeah, it's not that much further, yeah.
I got 117. We ate at the Red Lobster once, right there.
You ain't where?
At the Red Lobster, right there, where 117 comes up and ties into
okay,
79,
Yeah.
by the fairgrounds.
Yeah, there's a couple of good restaurants.
Oh my God, I had too many cheddar biscuits.
And it was all you could eat shrimp night.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But, we're kind of behind our own schedule because COVID hit, but I mean, we felt it was important just to get out and see folks and talk. Of course, we have to meet you because you're the new dude. And, we just want to get around the state. So you didn't talk to us before you signed up, we would have told us differently, but, whatever.
What the heck's wrong with it?
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
It's hard to judge it, because of COVID, it's not normal. So, I enjoy it so far, and there's amazing people that work for Henry County, I'm having a good time.
The interesting thing about COVID too, from the standpoint of the office, is we discovered we all work very well from home.
Yeah.
I think we all work harder from home.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you really have to get it done. Now I got a little time, I can do something else that I want to do, so. Yeah.
So, how have you guys felt about the way we've tried to keep you up to date on what's going on? I mean, the weekly or bi-weekly calls for a while, webinars we're trying to do, the daily newsletter come out, and all that kind of stuff. Anything else we could have done for you? Or anything?
Don't do any more. Because we're good. Like Jeff says, it's all COVID, everything's COVID,
And it
and
was almost, I like the newsletters. You got to where on some of them, on a lot of the conference calls on Thursday, I haven't been on. Because I've looked at what the agenda is, we have already been over that. And I got to the point where if I heard this unprecedented time and one more. I don't remember, it was early on, but we had heard it that many times already.
Yeah.
And I was looking at early on through most of, the latter part of February, the health commissioner, county health commissioner, myself, and Tracy Bush, our EMA director. We've been talking this COVID stuff since the end of January.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
looking at and making plans, and fortunately, we have not been hit. We're able to keep it out of the nursing homes, which is huge.
that was
in
the
itself.
biggest thing here, yeah.
And I think we would be much worse off had it gotten early into the long-term care facility.
Yeah. Well, because that's what blew it for Putnam County.
Yeah.
They got in just one nursing home, and they went 17 of them in there that were
Yeah,
sick,
and we have,
Miami County too.
yeah.
Charlie
Yeah.
City.
we had, in our regional jail,
Yeah, we had it there. Right.
we quit taking prisoners and we're back.
Well, we're still taking prisoners right now. I just got an email yesterday that we're back on the red list for ODRC. We can't send any down there because, we had a positive, yeah. It was out of Lucas County. We hauled for Lucas County. our buses go down there and pick them and take them.
So who gets credit for it? Do we get,
Who knows? I don't know, where's he
Four
from?
counties get credit, or does Lucas County get credit?
Yeah, or are they telling 4 times?
We're
Can you tell I don't really trust those counts too well? I don't think that's all
We're at
above
15.
board, but.
One of them was a transition between jurisdictions, a transfer from one jurisdiction to another.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could transfer COVID cases.
Well, what I wonder about that one, I didn't ask the health department, was, did they take him off the other county's number, or is he counted twice, that one?
So with what CCAO has.
Yeah, that's what I think, that's what I think.
One thing, I like being able to text the questions.
Good.
You know, once, I'm going to say, all phones are going to be used.
It was a learning process for us.
In the first couple, it was so bad.
It was horrid.
You know,
My mind just kind of.
I was sitting at home and I had my phone on, and I had my earbuds in, I'm sitting on the back porch listening to that phone call, and I had a drink in this hand, because if I sit on the back porch, it's a Friday afternoon, it's way early on, and we had talked about something, and all of a sudden they said, oh, we got a question in here, and they read it off, I said, that's Glenn. I knew it already. Oh, yeah. My wife goes, who are you talking to? I said, to myself.
But she didn't even comment, did she?
No.
Yeah, so I thought that was good. And as you're thinking of stuff, you can set, you can send it. The information would hear, every so often Adam would call. And, you know, what are you hearing, what are you thinking, and, which is wonderful. With the CARES Act, whenever the governor's gonna sign, which I hope he does today.
They don't have it yet.
Oh, they don't.
So unless they get it soon, but I was texting with the OBM director, the hour,
Mhm.
and she said they don't have it from the printers yet.
I've been talking to Hoots.
Maybe something.
No, he didn't know. Yesterday morning, he had
Yeah.
talked about 30 minutes. He didn't know. He didn't have any idea, after it passed, had no idea what was going on. And then I saw him yesterday afternoon. I said, so how's the tension? He calls. That's still there.
Because once you get the governor to sign 340 or 481,
Mhm.
there's still $850 million
Yeah.
left on the table for the state to disperse to local government. So as long as it's just to do 350, we have to come back and do a much bigger pot. Now, there's some in Columbus who want to sort of hold on to it a little bit longer to see if Congress will loosen the ropes on it a little bit, so that
That's
they
what Jim
can
said.
use it for lost revenue.
Yeah.
Honestly, our estimate is that we're 967,000?
Yeah,
Does that
I
sound
think I
right?
wrote it down there.
They got it written on a board in their, EOC,
I'll take your
Yeah.
videos. Tom's retirement.
I got that, too.
He did. Tour, we've got our video wall, and
Cool.
this is, for Henry County, we think this is as impressive as the bunker in Columbus that you mentioned. With our capabilities.
Yeah, we got Zoom set up in here, and then we got Zoom set up in there, and.
I thought you said.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I love the screen. I mean, that's a beautiful screen.
We've had one there since.
Quite a while.
2013.
Actually, usually I sit right there, you know how we usually sit there.
But we're
social
6
distance,
feet apart. And we have held session here live. Our body,
Yeah.
our prosecutor felt we needed to have our seats filled.
Nice.
And, we have not, the courthouse has, other than we've restricted hours. It was open from 8:30 8:30 to 1:30 or 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30, I think.
For quite a while.
Yeah.
But people could come in, there was still the mask requirement, temperatures were checked. All staff, the temperatures are still checked, and we'll probably continue that for a while. Here, there's not that many employees here. The problem is we want to be able to keep EOC operational, and so there's two people over there, one full-time, one part-time. The part-time person comes in on Monday, and then he's home the rest of the week. And often, if you have an assignment or a mission for him,
He's got it done.
he's got it done.
Yeah, he does, and he works well.
So I think
He does
we're,
work well.
finding that, even the health department is finding with staff that was working from home, that they ended up being more productive. A number of agencies, I talked to a few of the directors, and, one of them was calling just to see what I thought about what they were doing. And she was talking about how, this COVID thing is changing the way they do business, and finding out that the way they would do business, we didn't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just, we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
Is that caseworkers, they could work from home, and right now until they could go into the homes or do kind of a face-to-face visit, distance away, was working very, very well. And don't anticipate on changing that a whole lot. You know, instead of having a group Zoom meeting, we may just have, we'll have, one morning a week for a couple hours of in-house people, but otherwise. So it will be, over the next,
These changes were slowly coming, but they just timetable got moved way up from this experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like we also evolved quicker in terms of coordinating within the office in a higher sense of when we started to work from home every morning at 8:30, we would have a virtual meeting with the policy team, Frank and Brownlee, Mike Kendall from SEPCO, support staff, comms, and IT, and the policy team. And we'd be on for like 30 to 45 minutes every day, touching base.
Do you know how it sucked to be in front of a camera at 8:30 in the morning, and usually I'm not leaving for the office till like...
I had like 9 o'clock stuff going forward, but I'm up at 6:30. And for us old people, we had to get used to seeing ourselves on the screen. Because it's one thing to be in meetings, but you don't have a camera showing you your image right back at you. And that took a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little different, yeah.
Cover my picture up a little bit.
Especially with these laptops that have the camera at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
For those bifocals. Oh, you need to turn your nose out.
That's what I was told the very first meeting. I came back in there because I did it from home, and they told me in the next room, you gotta trim your nose hairs. And I said, what the hell are you doing here? Well, now, the joke is everybody walks up to the camera and goes, shack them real quick.
But now we're doing these meetings once a week on Friday, just to continue to better collaborate between SEPCO, Corsa, policy team. And we've got Life traveling with Kendall as you guys are out talking to new counties
On
for
SEPCO.
SEPCO. And Frank has been wonderful to help with some HR stuff, and, you know, Brownlee's always collaborating as well, and Ally, and it's just a team environment now.
Yeah.
It kind of, you find out really how talented your people are. They're given an opportunity, just let me do my job.
And then be creative and do it a different way,
Do
yeah.
my job.
Yes, we had those issues for a while.
We did.
It was painfully obvious. And, yeah, for example, we were talking about dress. Like Wednesday afternoon, I talked to our JFS director. She said, it's a good thing the commissioners didn't come up to see us today. Why, she said, this was, dress as if you were working from home. Oh, no. And so they were just, she was doing things for her agency where they could have some fun and make the days a little more fun, and that's.
They did good, yeah.
We had one day out here, it was, where's Mike DeWine and Dr. Acton. So we had Amy on a stick and Mike on a stick.
They'd hide them around, yeah.
It was some, you kind of get to the point where you hear about this all the time. You go home and you hear about this all the time. And it's very similar to 911.
Yeah.
After you see the reruns of both planes hitting the tower over and over and over, it really starts to get to you. And yeah, there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some sad things that happen, but you kind of got to help keep yourself focused.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys gonna have to do any budget cuts to adjust for revenue streams, or what do you guys think?
Our auditor was just here, wanted to talk about, we're getting set up for the CARES money. And the projection for our normal sales tax, non-auto, was off 1% in April. It was off 3% in March. It will be interesting to see what happens in May. We anticipate, we're just anticipating 20%. And we should be all right. It will be the 2021 budget will be possibly a little more interesting. We may have to, ask people to sacrifice here. I've already started calling some of the employees. If it came down to, would you rather have a raise or keep the health insurance costs where it's at?
Yeah.
So far, it's been unanimous, let's keep the health insurance.
Yeah.
And so, it's too early for us to even know what's kind of.
Well, we don't know what's going to do with health insurance either, but that's the.
We never laid anybody off. It begins to look like it was way too complicated, and, that extended employment or whatever that thing was that got passed by the Fed, we spent weeks on that.
Trying to figure that
With the
out.
prosecutor, with the auditor, and the three of us, Christie, and our HR consultant, Jim Evans, we finally got a policy put together. Could I tell you what that policy says right now? No. But it's there, it's in
But
place.
for the most part, we just did administrative leave and just,
And if you could work at home, if you were working at home, and we needed you at the office, you had to come into the office. Well, if you don't have somebody to take care, what if I don't have somebody to take care of my kids? That's not my problem. We need you at the office. We're not allowing you to work from home, to have, the opportunity to take care of the kids. I know it probably put some employees in a little awkward position, but
for the most part, I never really heard any issues, serious issues.
It would have gotten back.
It would have gotten back to us, yeah. And I think we have pretty good cooperation, really.
Yeah, so family, at the courthouse, family court and the auditor's office have the most employees. The auditor's office, half worked half came in, worked today, the other half came in the next day. And so everybody wasn't there at the same time, and that just changed here a few weeks ago. Then we went back to where the courthouse, still masks, or if you can't wear a face mask, you can wear a face shield. And, we've got plenty of those now. Family court has, family court judge just loved the Zoom thing. She did. One of the.
She's using it for cases?
Yeah. We have it set up with all the, the things that you need to have set up to keep it secure, as they keep rolling out security updates. She didn't want anything else because the Supreme Court recommended Zoom.
Well, of course.
And honestly, John, it's worked well for us. People recognize it, and just the fact of the recognition sometimes makes it easier for people.
Zoom, I can do that.
Yeah. It's easy. I'm on the board at the Northwest Ohio Area Office on Aging. The board meeting at the end of May, they used Microsoft Teams. Talk about a fiasco. And, they weren't familiar with it, so now you put it with a bunch of board members, that many are retired, and I had trouble with it, and I thought I was fairly, so I had the CEO of area office called me one day, and a few days after this meeting, and said, you mentioned Zoom. I said, well, but she said, our IT people tell us how bad it is. I said, well, and her name's Billy, wonderful person. I said, if you get it set up right, follow the protocols, it works fine. But I said, what I like about it is that it's so easy that if I have a question for you, I can type a question and send it right to you. If I have a question or comment that I don't want to butt into the conversation, type it to the chair, and these things can go back and forth. That has been very nice. Even though with one of our systems we have the capability of hosting, our customers are. So we're
It's interesting how we all had to learn stuff on the fly. I mean, just even learning the consoles, and then you had the virtual meetings, and then last week, Corsa did a hybrid where they had no more than 10 people in their room, but they had a couple of board members on cameras on the virtual meeting. But they had bought a Logitech wide angle meeting room kind of camera so that you could see.
And this one handles this setup very, very well.
If we're doing Zoom, I just move about where John's sitting, and I can see it. The camera picks me up there.
And
we've had a lot of Zoom meetings.
It picks up, the microphone picks up well. Right now, we're on doing a conference call type thing, and we're recording it on YouTube. So we'll probably, this has kind of forced us into a little more of where it really wanted to go, but it hasn't been a priority. Now it's a priority.
Yeah.
Our IT is months behind, but the normal behind. And they usually have about a 2-week backlog of work orders. And so they stay at a comfortable level. We've got so much stuff going on, and of course everything has to happen now.
Right.
Let alone some of the things that we're going to use the CARES money to change. So there's just a whole laundry list of.
So how are you going to use the CARES money?
We can, if you want, we can go next door and we'll show you.
We did a lot, there's a lot of money that can go to telecommunications stuff.
Yes, working remotely. For those that are online listening, we're going to go next door to the EOC to show Cheryl and John our list of CARES Act money items. So we have, the way the money has come in, you have the public assistance money. Now you have a supplemental that has come from for the EMPG. There will be Homeland Security money coming. So we have lots of lots of options, and we started brainstorming.
That's why I said, it'll be a while. It's good for them, but
Yeah, it's hard to feel.
I gotta be at 3 or 4 o'clock.
Ooh, yeah, you better hurry.
Morning. This way.
Oh, there's traffic or something.
I'll see you in a minute.
I got that corrected.
You're still on the speaker. What is it?
That's it. So I thought the old one, didn't think about that, I was too far on the concept.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
you guys up to, we're going to Poland. Good to see you again, Tracy.
Over the bridge, left on R, right on 118, and we're there.
You're with, well, I'm with Michigan either, I don't wanna get a couple of weeks, so that's trouble in itself up there.
Yeah, we don't go there.
Michigan. Yeah.
Billy's, roof not done this year.
Yeah. Who ran up there? Yeah, he had something, there's another guy, I never heard the name.
Joe Short.
Oh, Joe.
Joe's ran.
Joe, that's right, that is right, I did hear that, now that you say it, yeah, I forgot.
My husband remembers
Yep. Yeah, he's back.
We love you guys.
There's never enough time, but,
Yeah.
but
Nice to
I'm glad
see
you
you guys.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you guys, it's fun.
we worked pretty hard on.
That's
Yeah.
impressive. And Tracy, the cashier reminds me of Larry.
He is,
You know, a writer, a doer,
Oh, he-
wants to take care of people.
he was a retired senior chief.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He's got a lot of shit for this county, I mean, he does, he gets, let me see what I can find, and even other people that want grants for stuff, they come on, what are you thinking, I get some, read it over, and help him out or something. He's got a lot of knowledge on it. Yeah.
And figure out how to.
That's from being in service a long time, I think they knew how to work the system, and that's what it is, it's the system, you gotta work on it, and get what you can get. If we don't get it for our county, somebody else will, so.
That's the big smile.
So, if you have questions, feel free to give Tracy a call.
Well, he was even saying new commissioner training.
Actually, I was thinking that. I mean, this book is awesome. Yeah.
You know, again, Columbus has their hands full with Henry County. We had a satellite trailer from EMA, it was a great satellite trailer, you could do Wi-Fi off of it. But we wanted to, we agreed contractually to keep it here, and we could use it. Well, we wanted to be able to plug our IP phone system into it, so if communications went down, we could communicate. Well, no, you can't use it for that. Well, why? And finally, I sent it back to Columbus once, and it got about halfway to Columbus, and they had to bring it back. But anyway, long story short is, finally, it quit working. So we put our own equipment in it, and we could use the IP phone system on it. However, the gentleman in EMA wasn't happy with us, so they came back and got it, which was fine. And we found a better solution through Verizon.
Yeah.
Through their, emergency government side. Much better, much cheaper. So,
Sometimes there's too many roadblocks.
There are always too many
well, you got,
Too many roadblocks.
yeah, you know, it's, kind of bureaucrats in their own. Yeah, so it's,
And it has personalities you gotta deal with, you know, sometimes you.
Yeah,
Enjoy lunch.
Yeah, and ice cream. No, not the way I
Okay.
see ya.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're still on, Kristen? Is there anything to come before the Board of Commissioners? Just, and for the, let the record reflect, we were over next door in the EOC, just reviewing, what we potentially might, use the CARES money for, and other, pots of money with, Tracy Bush, our EMA director, along with Cheryl Summer and John Lights from, the County Commissioners Association of Ohio. So with all that said, since there's nothing else to come before the board, would there be a motion to adjourn?
I would make a motion.
I'll second. Christine?
Hudson,
Yes.
Glenn Miller.
Yes. We are adjourned at 12:42 PM.
All right.
I'm going home for lunch.
Yeah, me too.
We finally, we're having problems with